morning internets. Here we are, coming to you live from the little town called Hinton, Alberta, nestled into the foothills, sort of the Rocky Mountains. I spent the night here last night, and gonna continue on today. Just waiting for the Walmart to open, as you can kind of see in the background. The parking lot was a good place to spend the night last night. It was really, really quiet. Even when the bar got out, there still wasn't a lot of noise. It still was, quite manageable. It got down to -2 Celsius last night, so it was a little bit cold. Still a little leery on using my furnace. I don't quite know how to fire it up. I tried it last season, and I tried it here this spring and couldn't get it to fire up, so I don't know. It's an older trailer. We'll have to see how she goes. Maybe I'll run it in and get some work done to it, especially if we're planning on using it again for another season or so, because it's worth to spend a little bit, I guess. So it looks like the mall doesn't really open until later, being Sunday and all, of course. You can kind of expect that. So I'll probably just end up going to Walmart here, which opens at 8 o'clock, and do my shopping. Pick up some bacon, pick up some eggs, a few things, some cheese, margarine, I forget, I got a list written here, and then continue on. I believe I have 6 or 8 stops for the day until the scheduled, if you want to say, stop for the night. So we'll have to see how things shape up. The drive was a little bit of a rough drive yesterday, and the day was a long day, and it was probably about 12:30 or so last night before I got settled down to go to sleep last night, and it was about 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning when I was awake. So it'll be a little bit of a rough one, but I guess it is what it is. We will have to play it by ear and kind of one step at a time, one day at a time, right? If I don't make it to the scheduled stop tonight or today, then we'll have to reevaluate things for tomorrow. That's why I set things up the way I'm set up here, is because, then that way I'm able to stop, not on the side of the road per se, but, at a point where I can safely stop and spend the night and then continue on from there. But pretty much, guys, gonna wait for Walmart to open and go in, get a few things, and see what she rolls from there. hello internets, here we are. Little bit of an update. Well, here we are at the Luscar, I believe it's called, collieries. Essentially, it's a mining site. The road in here was quite interesting. We had a nice paved road up until probably about 5 kilometers or so ago, and then it got really rough, really rocky. At one point there was actually snow on the ground still, and then when the snow started to melt, we hit some mud and all that good stuff. Definitely I was glad to see the rest area, because a stop was needed. Well, this morning when I got up, after I last checked in with you guys, I went to the Walmart and was gonna pick up some groceries. However, the Walmart in Hinton is only what they call a pantry Walmart, or at least that's what we used to call it when we had a pantry style Walmart in Lloydminster. Basically they got bread and some canned goods and some cereal and small selection of milk. I didn't even see a cooler with meat in it or anything like that. So I went down the mall to another grocery store, Safeway. They were open. In fact, they opened at 7, an hour before Walmart, and picked up what I needed there. Then I headed off to Brule. I believe it's called Brule or Brule, depends on how fancy you want to pronounce it. And that road was quite hilly, quite ups and downs and hills and stuff, and nice and nestled into the foothills is that town, and kind of sort of where we are right now as well, just about 40 or 50 kilometers away from it. So by the time I got to and back from Brule, I decided to go back into Hinton and put a little more fuel in the truck, because there was a sign that said the next fuel stop is like 278 kilometers, and better be safe than sorry, right? So as it was, I get out here on Range Road 40, I believe, and get a little bit into it, and lo and behold, I lose cell signal. So right now I'm standing in a dead zone where there's no cell signal, no nothing. I'm not sure if it's because of the mountains or if we're in some kind of a valley or what it is, but this would be a really bad place to run out of fuel. So I'm glad I filled up the truck, I filled up my gas can, and we're good to go regardless of whether we use it or not. It's better to have 25 liters of extra fuel than to be short by 5 liters, right? So gonna shoot some footage here and then get on with the drive. I think the next stop is Catamount. Not 100% sure what to expect, but from what I've seen so far, it's been quite the journey. Well, hello internets, here we are. Little bit of a update. Well, along our journey here, went past the mining town or site to a couple more stops. Came around to do another loop to end up to about 4 stops away from where we're gonna stop for the night. And the road that, well, the only road that leads to it is blocked off. Now that sign there with spray paint says local traffic only. So that pretty much indicates to me that there's a strong possibility of an issue at the other end or somewhere along the way where I can't get through to where I want to go. I'm only about 30 kilometers from where I need to be going this way. However, I'm gonna have to backtrack probably through all that rough road that I just went through to get around the long way to where I need to be for the night. It's a little frustrating, but hey, it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta roll with the punches, take things as they are, and think on your feet. Even if it does mean losing a couple of stops and having to drive or backtrack for 45 minutes or so. You never know, maybe I'll see something new going the opposite way along the way, and around we go. Well, hello internets, here we are. Little bit of an update. Well, had to backtrack all the way through Hinton and all the way back to Edson, Alberta. So with the exception of going through Brule and going through Loose Car and Catamin, the whole Hinton corner was a wash. If I would have known that, I would have just skipped all 3 of those stops and I would have went south and not have to have spent the fuel money to have come this far just to turn around and go back. However, that being said, there was nothing on Google, nothing on the internet about that road being closed. Maybe because of the rain, because of the snow, there is logging truck traffic and stuff in that area. Maybe it's something new that just happened the last couple of days since, you know, since the warm weather here, I guess, maybe. There are mountain trail type roads, because being a mountain pass, there isn't grid roads like you'd find on the prairies like I'm used to, or so. You know, being it's a mountain foothills, there are trails that maybe you could take a lifted truck down, but I definitely wouldn't drag a low holiday trailer like this down them. So the only alternative, I guess, is to backtrack. It sure would have been nice to have had signs in Hinton or on that Range Road 40 that said no through road, blah 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 blah, you know what I mean. Then I wouldn't have went that far. It was worth going. It was worth going. There was, you know, some fuel wasted per se, but I guess the adventure is worth the so-called use of fuel. So like I said here, went and fueled up in Hinton. Was gonna grab me something to eat. However, it was crazy busy there, and a lot of these places aren't set up for a truck and trailer, and it's just too congested. So I hit the road and came all the way back to Edson, and now I'm gonna grab myself something to eat. I'm starting to feel it. I had breakfast yesterday morning, and then that was at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and then at 9:30 at night I had a bowl of Mr. Noodles, and that's all I've had since then. So really I haven't ate much at all in over 24 hours now. So gonna go get me something to eat, see what's the what, and then hit the road once more. Well, hello internets, here we are. A little bit of an update. I forget when, where I was when I last did an update, but boy, has it been an adventure today. Between driving all the way to Hinton to do the loop to come back around this way to go to a spot that I had fond memories of 20 years ago, and then ending up with a detour that screwed everything up and having to backtrack to finally getting to the spot that I had fond memories of, just to be told that this is now private property, you're trespassing, I could have you arrested. Well, I thought it looked a little different. But keep in mind, it's been 20 years, right? Memories do change in 20 years. And I figured, searching on the internets, that the government went around in '98 or so and closed a bunch of these campsites, but that one wasn't on the list of closures, and I don't know. So far, I've just wasted a bunch of time, if you want to say. Shot a couple of video clips in like loose car and Catamin, and shot some nice photos, sort of. But that's about it. You know, spent money on fuel. But I guess that's the way it is, right? You can't have fun without spending money. Everything costs nowadays, and to get away, to clear your mind, to decompress or get relief costs money, whether it's a psychiatrist or, you know, or some other options. And this one here is a far lesser of all the options to do, is to go camping, and kind of something I've always liked to do. Well, we finally found a town that is about 10 kilometers away from the failed memory campsite. Went there, fueled up, drove all the way back out to the campsite, thinking that I could leave from there in the morning. And no, I couldn't, because there's no such thing as that campsite anymore, and apparently I ruined the guy's I don't know what he does alone out there. Maybe he's got a herd of sheep that he gets all tender with or something and didn't want to be interrupted or whatever. So turned around, and I was going to drive all the way back to Rocky Mountain House, which is like 90 minutes away. Or I was going to go over to Olds, which is way out of my way, like kind of the opposite way. I have to go back to Rocky Mountain House tomorrow. However, I'm tired, right? My day begun at 5:30, and I've put on a good 800 to 900 kilometers today, which is not an easy thing right now for me to do. I'm looking forward to relaxing a little bit, putting my feet up. Well, hello internets, here we are. We come to the end of another day. Well, all settled into the stall for the night. It's supposed to be down to +2 Celsius, so not quite as cold as Hinton was this morning. So that's a bonus. And I'm sure grateful for this here campsite. You know, I didn't know if I should head back to Rocky Mountain House or head over to Olds, or what to do, or just to cannonball run as far as I could go home and give up and call it good. Well, giving up never got you nowhere, so luckily I got Google's and well, data plan. So I was able to find me a campsite, and what more can I ask for? You know, showers are hot. They're free. You don't have to pay a loonie or a toonie for what feels like a 1 minute of water. The bathrooms are clean. You know, they're not the Ritz-Carlton, but yet they're not a dumpster behind the bar. They're older style, but what more do you need, right? The bathroom stalls are big enough to fit my butt in there, and the shower stalls are bigger than that. So it's a hot shower, nice place to rest. I give this campsite a good 5 out of 5 stars. Without that, I'd be on the side of the road somewhere, or maybe back at Rocky Mountain House if I made it that far, because, well, I'm feeling pretty tired. It's been a very long day, and you know you're tired when the cashier at the gas store wants to know if there's something wrong with you, because apparently I wasn't making any sense when I walked in and asked for $100 on pump 2. I don't know, maybe I don't know. When you're tired, they say that it could be as equal to as being drunk or impaired, because essentially you are. You know, and a long day and stress and all that stuff. And yeah, I know I missed out on 4 or 5 stops, whatever it was, and I had to backtrack instead of making a nice centrifugal, or whatever you want to call it, loop like I had planned to do. But hey, it is what it is, right? You know, the best laid plans sometimes are left in ruins, and sometimes you just have to wing it to get it right. Sometimes it's best not to chance going down that closed road, because, well, when it says closed or local traffic only, quite often the other end is closed up, or it's really beat up by logging trucks or mining trucks or whatever's in the area. So you never know, right? But pretty much, guys, gonna end her all here. Today was a good one, tomorrow's another one, and around we go. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's Vlogs. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.